Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Today we are doing a HeroClix set review of Marvel HeroClix Spider-Man Beyond Amazing. We have Matt Ventura and Kennie Peña with us. So hello guys, how's everything going? Good, good.
Doing well, man. How are you?
Good. So I'm excited to review this set. We're going to be doing it in order: commons, uncommons, rares, super rares, and chases. If we may have to split this up into two parts, or we might keep it all together as one part. So we'll see what happens. But just to remind you at home, everybody listening, about our grading scale. We have a grading scale for our set reviews on Coffee and Clicks. It goes like this. Herbal tea is a 0. That figure puts you to sleep. We don't really care about zeros. We don't care about herbal tea. I'm actually drinking herbal tea. So and then we have a 1. So it goes from 3, 2, 1 to 0. So 0 is the herbal tea. 1 is a single espresso shot. Single espresso, which is not really impressive figure. 2 is a double espresso, which is an impressive or second tier figure, something that might be good in a home game or in sealed, something that's it's like more of a fun piece, but it's still pretty good. And then a 3 is a triple espresso. Those are your top tier meta figures. Those are the really good ones. The 3. So 3, 2, 1, 0, and we're gonna rate every figure this way. So let's just get right into it. Let's get started. Let's take a look at Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, set number 001. That is 40 points Spider-Man. What do you guys think about this Spider-Man here? Matt, what do you think?
Single shot for competitive and sealed. Not going to be my go-to, especially with 2 damage. But 5 clicks for 40 points and the wall collar trait. It could get the job done.
Yeah, I agree. I do think this is an herbal tea for constructed. I think for sealed, it's probably a single. Normally 001s tend to be like usable good sealed figures. I think he misses the mark, but he does have running shot, 5 range. He's not completely useless. He can do things, but he's limited in his usage a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'd give him a 0 or maybe a 1, but probably a 0. I mean, he does have that 11 attack ink cap ability. He's a running shot ink cap. He's got the Spider-Man with the Spider-Man team ability, which the super senses with the Spider-Man team ability. So, I mean, he's not easy to get rid of, but I think there's other Spider-Men in this set that are better by far. So, so yeah, I mean, even in the common and uncommon slot, I think there's another Spider-Man that's probably better than he is. Yeah, I'd give him like a 0 probably, herbal tea. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is J. Jonah Jameson, set number 2. He's so 25 points. Kenny? What do you think about Jonah Jameson?
For constructed, I mean, he seems like he has a tool for constructed, but he probably won't break that surface as constructed continues to just be this other thing. And cheap perplex, he has a really good rally, and I think it's really good for sealed. I think you pull this guy anytime you get cheap perplex, that's already good. The fact that he can kind of mitigate what a lot of these figures want to do with their super sense rolls is also a bonus. So he is a figure you're excited to see in your sealed pools. I would give him a 2, a double. The only reason why I say double and not triple is because there is not a lot of flyers in this set. So he's going to have to walk around on his own a lot. But yeah, so I would say single for constructed, double for sealed.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm about the same. Probably, I don't know if there's any cheaper perplex, so probably single or herbal for constructed, but definitely solid for sealed with that rally trait. If you're not rolling great and hit ones, then at least you can use it against against the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I concur with both of you. I think that he's probably a 2 in sealed, 1 in constructed, but I mean like a 1-ish, maybe a 1.5 for sealed, just because of his mobility. But cheap perplex is always good. So yeah, I think he's good for that. And I also like to see that celebrities getting a push, continuing to get a push.
Since Disney Plus, yep.
Ever since Disney Plus, celebrities just like skyrocketing. So, all right, let's take a look at the next set. The next figure in the set.
Next set, wow.
We're done. Okay. Police officer, set number 3. What do we think about police officer? That's a generic, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Probably worth a single in sealed at least, maybe a double for the team ability, going 10 for 3. At the very least could use as a tie up even with low speed. And generatable only by 1 figure. A rare, I think. But if you pull them together, could be decent. Probably herbal for maybe single for constructed, also to wildcard the team ability.
So I agree with you, but for slightly different reasons. I will say he's single and constructed because he's a detective keyword. If you like mystery cards, he's going to be your cheapest option for it. One of the cheapest options for it currently. For constructed, I think you guys know from previous videos, I tend to favor the CURs more or the commons and uncommons, because you will see the commons and uncommons a whole lot more than you will see rare super rares when you're doing your typical in-store 3-round sealed matchup. Considering what he could do for 15 points, he could get up to a 3 damage, he could get up to a 10 attack, he does give you PD for 15 points. In my mind, he is actually a triple espresso when it comes to sealed.
Because of his
value
at his cost.
The value of his cost and how prevalent he's going to be, where you're just going to see him often. So if you're going to keep on pulling him, depending on how many sealed you play, you probably should learn how this figure works, what he's good at. And once you do realize for 15 points, you could get a tie up on his last 2 clicks. You can get a 10-3 on click number 1. You can get access to PD. I know Spider-Man T is not a wild card anymore, but there is a lot of team player in this set. The value he brings is actually quite high.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really used him in sealed too much, and I know I've pulled a couple of him, and I was afraid to use him. So, but I mean, like, I can see what your point, Kenny, that he could be very valuable. I mean, I actually have been tending to lean towards like close attackers in with the new rules and everything lately, compared to range attackers. But there's still value in the police team ability is still really good. So yeah, I mean, I give him like a 2 in sealed. I think he's usable for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe also a 1 or 1.5 in constructed, because of what Matt said about copying the police team ability for 15 points. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is set number 4, Mary Jane. Yeah, she's 20 points. She has the Spider-Man team ability. She's got some prob. Kenny, what do you think about Mary Jane?
I like her a lot, actually. I do think if she ever sees any constructed play, it's obviously going to be around a whole Spider-Man team build with that rally ability. It is a very, very good rally ability. But that being said, I'll just keep her at a single when it comes to constructed. Most likely it'll just be an herbal tea. For sealed, just like J. Jonah Jameson, Mary Jane, she's got cheap prob, and being team probability control is not a thing anymore. So you want that. You want as much of it as you can. And when it comes cheap like this, you snatch it up. I'll give her a triple when it comes to sealed.
Matt?
Yeah, definitely triple for sealed. Just a really good value overall. And there's a a ton of Spider-Man family or Spider-Man team ability in the set. So you're definitely going to get value from her in sealed. And even if you don't, just a 20-point prop with 4 clicks, possible option to end up even supporting, since that can be done in the middle of battle now. And then for constructed, I mean, there's a chance. Like, she's cheap enough, and prob not being just given to theme teams anymore. I mean, I could see it, especially like after rotation. Go maybe a single for sealed. I mean, constructed even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd give her a single for constructed, and a triple definitely for sealed, because I think she's the cheapest prob in the set. So yeah, she's really valuable. The prob is really valuable. Any of the support powers are really good. Prob, Perplexer, Outwit. All right, so let's take a look at the next figure, which is Hand Ninja, set number 5. This is the Stealthy Hand Ninja. With Smoke Cloud is free, but to generate 2 markers. Matt, what do you think about this Hand Ninja?
This figure's nuts. Like, I don't know. He's got the range. He's got the stealth and reflexes combo. Masters of Evil team ability. Free Smoke Cloud, so he always is giving himself the stealth, and friendly. At the very least, a defense bonus from range, or moving up and then making an opposing character's attack value down 1. So, like, you're getting value out of it either way. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is, if you got the points, this is probably a triple in sealed. It's so cheap for flexibility. And then I could see it getting played. Probably not generated, but maybe some points to fill. And free smoke's really good. So maybe a single or double and constructed.
Okay. Well, I agree everything that Matt just said. I don't think there's anything else I can add on when it comes to seal. I don't agree with the single, double, and constructed, even though I do think this is a very good figure. Sometimes simple is very efficient, and I think Hand Ninja does it. I think it's an herbal tea and constructed. I would love to be proven wrong, but and I'll gladly eat crow there. But for sealed, triple, absolutely, for all the reasons you said. There's nothing else I could say.
I kind of agree with Kenny. I think with as far as constructed, I don't think it's gonna really see play in constructed. Definitely at home games when you're like generating tons of ninjas.
For sure, yeah.
You know, if you're playing like a kitchen table game, I think it's gonna actually be pretty decent in like at a casual game, but not like at high levels at all. High level constructed play, but sealed, he's really good. So I definitely agree with both of you on that as far as sealed. But yeah, we have 2 ninjas in the set, so we have this one and then the black suit ninja. So the red suit and the black suit. So let's see what we got next. Matt Murdock, set number 6. Another cheap perplex figure. Kenny, what do you think about Matt Murdock?
Triple and sealed. I think it's pretty obvious. Can't believe I'm saying this. Lead climb is actually very useful here. It helps him. He has 8 speed. That's half the map. And he's not slowed down by anything, really. It's breaking away is a little bit easier for him. He has reflexes, and he has a really good damage power, which essentially will negate defend or modifiers, things like that. For that reason, I will give him a single in constructed, because he does have the tools to negate what some people might want to do with high defend strategies or other ways to manipulate defensive values. And he's cheap enough that he might fit, but at the same time, when constructed hive mind, he might not be cheap enough at 30 points because everything has to be hyper efficient, hyper cost efficient. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here, where I'll say there's a slight chance, maybe a single, but for constructed, for sealed, I do think he's a triple. There's a lot of utility here in the comments, as we've seen. This is a bigger number 6, and we're handing triples like crazy. But there's, utility's king.
Matt, what do you think about Matt?
Yeah, I pulled 2 of these in sealed, so I'm at a double or triple for sealed. I thought it was pretty good. They haven't, even with the range of perplex going down to 4, I still thought it was pretty valuable, and the rest of his dial, the leap climb, the 4 clicks is a good value for 30 points. Herbal for me for constructed, but it's a good sealed pick.
Yeah, I think herbal maybe a 1 for constructed for me. There is that possibility as like a silver bullet against like high defend teams, but like you're probably not playing this figure as a silver bullet for 30 points. But the sealed, yeah, he's great. Another cheap perplex, and he does a lot more than just that with the perplex. So, if they're perplexing their figures and modifying them positively, then they can't do that. With this Matt Murdock, so he's really good in sealed as well. I'd give him a 3 in sealed for sure. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is Spider-Gwen, set number 7. This is the highest cost figure we've seen so far. 50 points. Let me just make sure she's on the screen there so that you can see her. Okay. So Matt, what do you think about Spider-Gwen?
She might actually be a double in sealed for me. Wait, no, she's an outwit. She's got to be a triple. She's so mobile with traded leap climb, 5 clicks of sidestep, improve movement characters, and then outwit. And there's not a ton of outwit. And then with willpower, she has the potential to just keep moving and tokening, plus her double target in cap. Yeah, she's got to be a triple for sealed. Herbal for constructed. There's a lot of different ways I'd rather spend 50 points, but I would play her for casual. She's fun.
I don't know, Matt. I feel like if I got a decision between Spider-Gwen and Sky Tyrant, that's a very hard conversation I'm having with myself here.
Yeah.
So, I'll let you have your opinion. But no, I think for sealed, for constructed, she's invulnerable. She is really cool, though. I do think if you want to play those fun in-cap mission point teams with Malekith and Wonder Woman, the fact that she does the drive-by webbing, she has in-cap herself. She lends very well to that fun archetype. Whether it's going to win you worlds or not is a completely different story. That's not what I'm here for. However, for sealed, she is quite potent. She does have 3 base damage. We just saw a whole bunch of utility figures. This is the first one that actually feels like she can actually punch you and it will hurt. She has outwit, and if she doesn't want to hurt you, she has a drive by webbing and double in cap. So she's very flexible. I would agree with Matt that she is a triple in seal just for her versatility.
Yeah, I think she's probably an herbal T in constructed, but probably a 3 in sealed, just because she's. Not only does she have the improved movement characters, she's got that wall crawler trait, which this is the first one we're seeing, where it's leap climb free. Place this character in a square of different elevation within 4 squares in line of fire. That trait is
one.
And what?
001 Spider-Man had it too. We just skipped over him though.
Oh, we skipped over that. Okay. So 001 Spider-Man had it too, but that's a great trait. So that's
yeah.
And it's amazing in sealed because no pun intended, but there's like the maps in this current sealed event, they have a lot of elevated, and there are a lot of maps that are that seem to be out there that have a lot of elevated. So you could just
and terrain markers
and the terrain markers. So
and terrain.
Yeah, don't forget about terrain markers. So you can bounce back and forth between elevated for free. It's a free placement, so that's really good.
Yep.
The fact that she has outwit, she's not like a shallow dial. She's 5 clicks, so even you might be deterred by just having willpower as their defense. But she doesn't she's not going to easily get one shot really in sealed. So I think she's really good. All right, let's take a look at the next figure. So we have Spider-Gwen. The next figure is Venom. Venom is set number 8. 50 points. Sinister Syndicate and Spider-Man team abilities. 4 range with single target, and you can see it right there on the screen, all the stuff that he has. Matt, what are your thoughts on Venom?
I think this one's Kenny first.
Kenny, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I like this Venom. It's funny. I just said that the last figure felt like, our beefiest one, and then Venom comes here and says, "Hold my beer." So, first time you see charge exploit. So he's getting in there. He's ripping up all those defenses, even though we've seen absolutely no reducers so far in the common section. However, we know we're going to see them in the later rarity. So that actually does come into play very well. He's not competing for Sky Tire in the constructed, so we don't have to worry about that for 50 points. I do think he's a double. I do think always having someone with little beef, and he has a very interesting trait where anyone, when opposing character, anyone, doesn't matter where, uses super senses, he just heals a click. So, this is a Spider-Man set. Chances are that's going to happen a lot. So he does have that extra bit of longevity to his dial, even if he doesn't have Steel Energy or regen. If you play him appropriately, you play him right, he'll always be there, and he just has raw numbers, and that's never a bad thing to have, especially at 50 points. So I'll give him a double in sealed and a good old herbal tea in the constructed.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm gonna go herbal for constructed as well, but he might be pushing into the 3 for sealed just because he's so hard to take down. Like reducer up top, and then it's every time an opposing character uses senses, right? Regardless if they hit or not.
Yep.
So if that's happening 2 or 3 times a turn, I mean, healing 2 to 3 times on top of the Steel Energy, it's like,
oh, he does have Steel Energy. That's even, wow. I overlooked that. Yeah.
They have to commit to him in 1 turn. So they're going to sink resources like outwits and probs just to make sure he goes down. So it's like a 2.5, maybe 3, like especially with that exploit and super strength, which picks up blocking now. Like he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And if you pull the symbiote too, he's definitely a 3, like in sealed.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, I've played him a couple times in sealed, and I love him in sealed. I think he's a 3. I mean, as far as an attacker, I mean, he's not like a support figure or anything, but as far as having a good attacker in the common slot, the one thing I really like about him, I mean, other than all the things you guys said about him being like hard to take down and everything, is that he has precision strike, and super senses is so prevalent in this set that you need someone with precision strike to even like get through for damage sometimes. So
that's true.
And for funsies, I don't know, you said you pulled him in sealed. I've seen him in person. This is a massively tall figure for a common. Like, I don't know, you stack him adjacent to other characters, and he's like double their height, which I guess is comic accurate. I just found it interesting. So
yeah, he's like hulking big.
All right, so let's take a look at the next figure, which is Black Cat. And Black Cat is either 40 points or 20 points. So whose turn is it now? It's Matt's turn.
I think it's mine.
So go ahead, Matt. What do you?
Go ahead, Matt. Share the
Three for three for sealed, and after maybe now, but after rotation, I could see a maybe a 2 for constructed, specifically at the 20-point line. How unlucky, Giant Reach 2, this is her trait, opposing characters within 4 have safeguard friendly probability control, meaning within 4 squares of her, both ways, so a total net of like a 9 square
Radius,
box, radius. Opposing characters are not going to be probbing each other, which is very reminiscent of our friend Felix Faust. It's powerful. She's got the Giant Reach. She's got, Underworld team ability. She's just bringing a lot for 20 points along with the prob. So, yeah, I think she's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to say she's triple in both. I will agree with Matt that maybe not right now, but post-rotation, I do think when things start shifting over, I think the Underworld TA, especially when you can combine that with any character that has team player that's not just in this set, it really opens up the floodgates here. And just being able to position her or she getting into position and just saying no prob, set up your alpha or set up whatever it is you want to set up, not having to worry about prob. You kind of want to go a step ahead. Theme team prob is no longer a thing. So you would think the competitive players are going to start stacking prob of their own. And here you go. Here's a figure that says, oh, whether it exists or not, I don't care. You're not having it. That's always a good thing. In Seal, what else can we say? Again, Underworld TA, there's not a whole lot of flyers in this set. There are a bunch of wild cards when you get to the higher rarity. So her giving access to them to help, enable some carrying, that's always useful, but she was a triple without it anyway. So she's triple in Sealed. I'll say 2.5 in Constructed with a possibility of being triple in the near future.
Yeah, I think she definitely has the possibility of becoming a 3 in Constructed. I don't think she's there yet right now. The fact that Underworld, she's cheap Underworld, and that's definitely going to be a heavily copied team ability in the future. So I would give her a 2 in Constructed and a 3 in Sealed for right now. All right, let's take a look at Spiderling. Set number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Spiderling comes in at 40 points. Kenny, do you want to talk about Spiderling? What do you think about
her? I'll talk about Spiderling a little bit. She's 40 points, so she's the same point cost as 001 Spider-Man. They both have running shot. They're kind of doing slightly different things here. This Spiderling kind of just wants to hang back, perplex you, and potentially roll that 5/6 for her damage power, where if she uses perplex, target opposing character, roll a d6, 5 through 6, give target character an action token. That's very, very annoying. And it's also perplex too. So if you don't use it on an opposing character, you can use it on a friendly character and up their values. So cheap perplex is always good. We have seen cheaper perplex so far in the common slot. She does have full dial super senses that helps her a lot. I'm gonna give her up. She's probably a 3. I'm gonna say 2.5. And when it comes to Sealed, if she was a little bit cheaper, she might see more play in Constructed. It might be worth that roll off, but as is right now for 40 points, way too expensive. She's Herbal Tea Constructed.
Matt, what do you think about Spiderling?
Yeah, I think probably Herbal for Constructed, but I think she's pretty playable for Sealed, like a Perplex that with a bonus effect, 50/50 senses, and there's not in a Spider-Man set typically not a ton of range, so running shot with some reach to her is pretty solid. So probably like a 1 or 2 for Sealed.
Yeah, I think like I give her a 3 in sealed. I think she's kind of I mean definitely a herbal and constructed. I'd give her a 3 in sealed just because yeah, she has the perplex. You know, if you don't have a perplex, if you pull 2 boosters and you don't have a perplex, then you're playing her, right? Like you're probably playing her. And then also, you know, she does have that bonus of like she's being hard to kill because she's got the super duper senses, right? And then she has the super senses with the Spider-Man team ability. And then she has running shot. But not only the running shot, but she can wall crawl 4 squares to elevate it and then do her running shot. And she's got 3 damage with 4 range. So, you know, she can hit somebody, you know, do some damage when she needs to. But I really think that perplex ability, just having the perplex is what you're playing her for mainly. But I think that's good. I think that's good and sealed. All right, so let's take a look at Sandman. Sandman has 75 points or 40 points. What do you think about Sandman, Matt?
Like herbal or 1 for constructed, I guess if the Sinister Syndicate gets some play, maybe after rotation, maybe now. Maybe he goes in your pool. But for sealed, I feel like a 1 or 2, probably a 2. Traded super senses and poison, fairly deep dial, probably a 2. Pretty steady. Damage goes down to 2. I think I'm at like a 2, maybe a 1.5. I do like his dual target though.
Yeah, Kenny, what do you think about him?
I agree with constructed, and don't forget the frightful four, Matthew. That's you know that's a thing.
I did forget.
Form the Sinister Syndicate, yes. Even then, he probably doesn't see play. I do like him. Great sculpt. I do think the dial is interesting and different. He has a pretty cool rally effect. And Seal, I'll probably give him a 2. There's not a whole lot of damage reducers, especially at the lower rarities. They're all stacking super senses. So anytime you get poison, that's a good thing. Unfortunately, a lot of those characters that don't have those damage reducers have wall crawler, which they could just place himself somewhere away, so you don't have to roll for break. You just get out of jail free. But that's not every situation. There are going to be times where he's going to be able to catch you and poison you. I do actually think his 75-point line is the more appealing line when it comes to seal versus his 40-point line. That's just my personal opinion for the 7 clicks, the extra longevity, and the access to the special attack powers. So I will give him a solid double when it comes to sealed and a good old herbal tea when it comes to constructed.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with both you guys. I'd say herbal tea for constructed and a 2 for sealed. I mean, he's like a decent attacker, but he's not like blowing me away. But yeah, I'd give him a 2. All right.
Didn't you pull him with Chameleon and you were giving him Spider-Man TA because Chameleon gave him wild card or team player?
Oh no, that was Electro. I pulled Electro and I was giving Electro and Chameleon and Moon Knight Spider-Man TA.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I knew Electro had. We'll see Electro soon enough, but Electro has super senses like later in his dial, so I was like,
because Sandman has traded super senses. You find a way to give him Spider-Man TA. Now it's 4 through 6 super senses on top of the invulnerability. That's when he gets really really good.
Yeah, actually, you could do that because like if you pull Chameleon is only like an uncommon, I think.
Yeah, not that hard to pull off. Yeah.
And then you just play Spider-Man or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So let's see what we got next. Hydroman. So Sandman's counterpart here. So the water version. Kenny, what do you think about Hydroman? Here, I'll show
This
you.
is our first barrier figure with the new terrain rules, super strength. He can generate cubes of water for you to pick up and hit someone over the head with. So in that regard, he's cool. But in all seriousness, I do think he is actually a triple when it comes to sealed. He has access to Pulse Wave, and there's a lot of super senses in the set. And if you don't want to deal with it, you don't have to, because he can Pulse Wave. Just like Sandman, he has a nice long deep dial, 7 clicks. I also agree with myself that he's better at 75 versus 40. He has exploit weakness too. He has running shot. I know incompatible powers, but if you're base, he can damage you with exploit. If you're not base, he's going to running shot Pulse Wave you. I think that's a good thing. I know a lot of people will complain, but whatever. And the rally trait that gives him additional ways to heal or just generate terrain in your favor. I will give him a triple in sealed and constructed. If you're really committed to forming the Frightful Four, Sinister Syndicate, I think he is a better option than Sandman, but he's probably still an herbal team, maybe a single at best.
Matt, what
Yeah, def super hyper triple for sealed. Like there's a decent amount of perplex and some outwits. So if any of those are giving your team trouble, the Pulse Wave just resets the timer on all those, and they're all gone. And the traded shape change, when he uses it after resolutions, generate a water terrain, regardless of if he hits a shape change or not. He's getting the terrain.
Yep.
And being a dolphin symbol, now he's getting that untargetable outside of 4. I really like him. Probably the best sculpt in the set too.
Oh wow, best sculpt. It's common. High praise.
It is a really cool sculpt. Yeah.
I agree. It's good.
Like I've seen it like opening up boosters, and I was like, "Is this a rare or a super rare, possibly?" And it wasn't.
It's badass.
But let me ask you something. So when they generate the water, when it says when he hits shape change, he generates a water terrain.
No, not hit. When he rolls for shape change, or when he uses it.
He just uses it, so he could fail. He's still making water.
But when he makes the water, he can't generate it under himself. He can only generate it adjacent to himself. Because when you generate, it has to be adjacent. So then he has to actually either move into it or use the rally die to place himself into it.
Huh. Is that only for generating characters?
Correct.
Or
whenever you generate, it's going to be adjacent. Just like when you generate
anything.
a bystander, it would be adjacent. If it specifically told you to generate in his own square or generate 17 squares away, it would usually tell you exactly how to generate it.
Okay. So still good, but not as good as I thought. I still think he's great for seals.
Yeah, I think he's good. So
it combos with the rally. So like you generate the water,
True.
It gets in there, and you want to remove the rally. He gets in there and he kind of refreshes himself, and that's how it works. So you're not necessarily going to maximize what you described, like him being in the water and getting that dolphin symbol protection. If he does, great. If he gets carried in there, sure, it could happen, but chances are this whole mechanic is really about maximizing the rally die.
Yeah, I mean, you could yo-yo him. I mean, you could running shot next turn, and then free remove the rally die to place him back where he was. Yeah. So that's interesting. I don't know. So yeah, so I think he's good. I think I'd give him probably a 3 in sealed also. I mean, the pulse wave, having access to pulse wave is just really good. So, all right, let's take a look at the next figure, which is how many more do we have in the uncommons? A couple more. So we have Moon Knight here. Moon Knight is set number 13. He's 60 points or 35 points. So whose turn is it to go? Is it Kenny? Kenny, what do you talk about Moon Knight?
Sure. I honestly forgot whose turn it was.
Yeah.
This is another great sealed character. He might have some usage in constructed, but it's constructed is a beast. It's hard to tell. But let's focus on sealed first. For 60 points, he's perplexed. He actually has the move and attack. He has triple target. He has decent range. He has precision strike. Everything you would want in this particular set of Spider-Man. He has, and we haven't even gotten to like this bread and butter, which is his trait Hunter's Moon, which is lead climb. We don't care about that. Stealth and willpower. Free, choose an opposing character within range until your next turn. The chosen character can't use stealth or willpower. So there isn't a whole ton of people with stealth or a whole ton of people with willpower. But as you get to the higher rarities, there is a lot. The figures that you might be scared of, the higher pulls and things like that, they're going to have stealth. They're going to have willpower. So he is your common deterrent to stop them, and he's very accessible as a common. So for that, he is a triple. Also worth noting, he has IT adjacent, so triple target, whether you face him or not, he still has the ability to throw his moon darts at you and do whatever he wants to do with them. When it comes to constructed, detective keyword's nice. That's the only reason why I might give him a single, but that's about as far as I would go.
Matt?
Yeah, about the same in constructed. I mean, it is maybe playable just because it is a pretty cool, unique effect. If stealth, was that hard to that important to bust, or maybe that was your weakness on your build's team or something. But really good for sealed. I pulled him, so he was part of my sealed package. The precision strike in this set is really valuable. And I played him at lower points, at 35, which is a pretty good package, like running shot and stuff. So probably, oh yeah, and then also just having stealth, I was always able to park him in some hindering to get that willpower. I was, rolling 33% of the time, and he just kept going, kept shooting and stuff. So it was probably a double for me. Like he did more than 35 points worth of action.
Yeah, I think I would give him in constructed probably a 1. Maybe even a 1.5 just because he has the Avengers keyword, so he could be swapped in, which might be good, if you need to bust stealth. And then as far as sealed, I think he's a solid 2, maybe even a 3, just because he has so many tools. Because there is some stealth in the set, and there's also, the fact that he's got precision strike and he's got triple target. He can do some damage. So I'd give him a 2. I'm giving him in between ratings. I'm giving him a 1.5 in constructed and a 2.5 in sealed. Okay, so let's and I like him at both lines. I like him at 35 and at 60. 60 if you're looking for an attacker for sealed.
I agree with Matt, where I think I prefer the 35-point line, but the 60-point line is.
Oh no, in constructed, I think 35 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at Bullseye. Bullseye's the next figure. 60 points. He's got a lot of range combat expert, some rangy stuff, a lot of rangy stuff. So, Matt, what do you want to say about Bullseye? What do you think about Bullseye?
Pretty easy 3 in sealed. Again, precision strike, really valuable in a Spider-Man set. And the biggest reach in the set, I know we're only in the commons, but 8 range, 5 plus 3 from the damage power, and that 4 speed running shot is pretty great. You could keep him away and then pull a policeman or really anything cheap in the set to tie up, and he can just keep going with his willpower. So And probably maybe like a single and constructed again, just Sinister Syndicate swap, which we'll get to with Goblin, but maybe he ends up on there, but probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But really, really good for sealed.
Kenny?
I think I would probably. I think he's 2.5. Like I know he has to reach. He's 60 points. He's 3 damage. IT characters, but it's a smaller map. It's easy to tie up. If you pull it off, he's worth his points. Like no stretch of imagination am I saying he's a bad figure. You pull him, chances are you're probably going to play him. It's just easy to stop what he's really efficient at because of the nature of the map and how easy it is to get around. I will say in his favor, though, if you hit him, you need to KO him because even if he does lose a damage power, he gets 3 base damage out the back end of the dial, and that's with range combat expert. So that hurts, with 12 attack and things like that. Even if you base him, he gets Blaze Claw Fang. So he is not a figure you want standing around, especially when he's injured. So if you do go up against him, make sure you have a plan to either leave him alone and dance around click number 1 or take him out completely. And his rally effect is just really, really cool. I love the creativity here. You have to remove 2, but you remove 2, you're getting that instant crit hit. And whether that's click number 1 or even back end when his damage goes up, that's devastating. So yeah, I will say 2.5 in sealed. Constructed, yeah, I just don't see it. I'll probably say, I'm going to say herbal and sealed, constructed.
Yeah, I'd say herbal constructed. I'd say for sealed, maybe 2.5 as well. Everything that Kenny said for sure. Like if he gets based, you have to KO him because like he does get more dangerous towards the end of his dial. Also, he has sidestep at the end of his dial, so if you do base him, he has a chance to step away and then hit you for something. So
or he just blades you.
I mean, it was cool though. Somebody pointed out to me that you could do one move that you could do with him is remove that rally die, remove those rally dice, make the crit hit, and then knock someone off elevated because they get the knockback. So that's like 6 damage right there. So, yeah, it's a fun little interaction. So Bullseye, I'd give him like probably a 2.5 for constructed. We have the next figure, which is Aunt May. And a lot of people are talking about this Aunt May.
She's the best figure in all of HeroClix.
Run 5 Aunt Mays instead of Sky Tyrant.
Yeah, problem solved. But I think she's a triple all around. She's a triple in sealed because cheap support, 10 points, why not? And she's probably a triple in constructed, where again with support and how much better it is now, why wouldn't you? If there's a way to heal up characters who take X amount of damage or onto stop clicks or things like that, for 10 points, that's a very easy investment to include. Or she becomes a target, which means they're not targeting the other characters on your team. So all these things work in your favor when you're thinking how to approach a constructed or competitive game. At 10 points, you probably could run 2. I don't think you would, but you could. And it's just, it's hyper efficient. There's no reason to not even consider it. Or there's no reason in seal that you wouldn't play it just to fill up your roster. And in constructed, it's you have to consider it, regardless of how you're building your team. She's just that useful.
So what would you give her?
Oh, 3s all around.
3s all around. Okay.
Yeah.
And Matt.
I'm at a 3 for sealed for sure because it's way harder to like one-shot figures. Like you're definitely getting value out of her every game. I'm I'm not. I have yet to see. I know these new rules with support just came out, so I'm more at like a 2. I believe in support, but I haven't seen it yet. And she is a great value at 10 points. So there's no denying that. Um, but maybe if you're crunching the numbers and you get down to the last 10, 20, 30 points, maybe a Sinestro ring is more valuable than or a construct ring or something. But she could be nuts, but I don't think she's worse than a 2. So I think that's where I'm at for constructed until I see it.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as Matt here. I think I haven't really. I mean, I wasn't around in HeroClix when the strategy of support was like a thing. So I'm not really that good at it, right? But
It's been a long time, yeah.
It's been
Fair
a
enough.
long time since support has been like a thing in HeroClix. So we'll see. But I think she's definitely a 2 in constructed, and I'd put her as a 3 in sealed. So all right, let's take a look at Miles Morales. This is the last common.
Mm-hmm.
So Miles Morales is set number 16. He's either 50 or 25 points. So Matt, what do you have to say about Miles Morales?
The 2 point values, 50 and 25, make him probably a 2 for sealed. It's really easy, I think, and flexible to fit him in. He's got good reach with the uh, wall crawler trait plus the running shot, and he's doing with RCE. He's a 12 for 3, which is pretty decent. Decently deep dial, and I like both point values. I'm not reaching for him for constructed, more of an herbal, but he does have Avengers. I maybe a swap for 25 point stealth and reflexes is a good combo, and he's a wild card with the team player. So I think he's pretty cool. But more for sealed.
Yeah. Kenny?
Yeah, pretty much in the same boat here. I do think he's an herbal for constructed. There is possibilities with Avengers that swap and whatnot, but I'm not seeing it. I think I favor his 25-point line more than I favor his 50-point line when it comes to sealed. For 25 points, acts as a team player, and there's a bunch of different team abilities that are actually useful, whether it's police, Masters of Evil, Spider Message, Syndicate. There's even Shield. We're going to get to that later. He has stealth, combat reflexes, so good all reliable strategy. Park him in stealth, adjacent to someone. He's all of a sudden really hard to hit. And with wall crawler, he can get around pretty easily. So for 25 points, he's just obnoxiously annoying. Good damage values, close combat expert. Solid value. So I will give him. I'll give him a triple in sealed, an herbal, and constructed.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a nuisance for 25 points. In sealed, I played against him, and he was very good. I mean, the thing is, he's pretty easy to. Well, he's not hard to KO, but he does have some defensive abilities that make it a deterrent to even want to attack him for 25 points. So he's usually like the last figure that you go after. You're not really prioritizing to attack him. That's what I found in my game against him. He's got a lot of things that make him a nuisance. The wall crawler, the sidestep to stealth. He packs a punch. He's a good tie up piece. I'd give him a 3 in sealed. Probably an herbal in constructed. All right, so that was the commons. We just talked about all the commons in the Spider-Man Beyond Amazing set. Don't forget, everybody at home, to subscribe and give this video a like if you enjoy the content. that you are watching or listening to. And we're going to get right into the uncommons. So don't forget that the grading scale that we have here that we're using is 3, 2, 1, and 0. Triple espresso is a 3, top tier figure. Double espresso is a 2, second tier figure. Single espresso is a 1, not really impressive figure. And a 0 is an herbal tea, and the figure puts you to sleep. Okay, so let's take a look at the first uncommon in the set, which is Spider-Man, set number 17. He's 60 points. I'll show him on the screen here. Kenny, what do you think about this Spider-Man?
He's interesting. Definitely different than the common 001 Spider-Man. He's wants to get in there. He wants to punch. He has triple target. This is more of aggressive, in-your-face Spider-Man. The defense power really is what catches my eye here. It has protected outwit, and it super senses along with his Spider-Man TA. And if he uses it and succeeds, after resolution, deal 1 penetrating damage to an adjacent opposing character that didn't make the attack, which we just saw a whole bunch of commons that were 20 points, 40 points, 25 points. So not going to be so hard to have multiple characters. And if your opponent has everyone together and adjacent, you actually want this Spider-Man to go in, base everyone, and then force them to attack him. And then if they start missing, they're essentially punching each other for a penetrating damage in the face. It's not your typical Spider-Man build. That being said, he's still not going to see playing constructed, unfortunately, so he's going to be an herbal tea. When it comes to sealed, I think he's a 2. I think he's a double. You pull him, you want to base as many people, you want to base as many adjacent opposing characters as possible. Let the dice roll with the super sense rolls. If you have an Aunt May, Parker next to him, so if he does get hit, you can heal him back up. And that's pretty much how you want to play this figure.
Matt?
Yeah, I think he's pretty playable for sealed, like probably a 2. Super strength, picking up something to give him that 4 damage. The wall crawler means it's an extra, essentially you can potentially get another 4 squares to his swing. And this is definitely a figure, like Kenny said earlier, Boomerang. You got to finish him off, because if he's late dial Flurry and Battle Fury with Precision Strike, and the last click at 4 damage is pretty nasty. Herbal or single for probably herbal for constructed, but he's pretty playable for sealed. 50-50 senses too.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I would say an herbal for constructed and a 2 for sealed. I think, if he does tie everybody up and he makes them miss, then he's dealing out damage because they're like punching each other. But if they don't miss, then he can go down pretty quickly because he only has the super senses. So, just 2 hits of 3 damage each will take him out. But, hopefully that's like a 50-50 shot. So hopefully he's dodging those attacks. But yeah, there you go. So Spider-Man. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is 45 points. He's a Sinister Syndicate character. Uncommon, set number 18. Matt, what do you think about Mr. Negative?
From my personal count, I got 2 TKs in the set, so this is an autoplay for sealed. He's also, besides for the TK, he's got the leadership and he's carrying with Underworld. So this is like a sealed like bomb as far as support goes. Probably an herbal for constructed, and the mind control too. Yeah, I mean he's a great sealed pull, like a 4 shot for sealed probably.
Kenny?
No, absolutely. Yeah, literally, this is the first time we're seeing these 4 powers in this set when it comes to mind control, telekinesis, mastermind, and leadership. So, if you want the extra action, you want the extra mobility, even though everyone has wall crawler, he just expands on that even further. Decent combat values that turn into charged blades and power. And then he has the ability to go from different power sets into a steel energy, stealth, defense, support one. We were just talking about how great support is. He has high 19 defense at the last click, or 18. There's a lot of flexibility here. He does it all. And he's doing it for 45 points. He does it pretty well. So yeah, he's an absolute triple shot in sealed. There's no question about that. And as much as we can build him up in sealed, he is still unplayable in constructed and will be a herbal team.
All right. Yeah. So I think he's definitely a 3 or even more in sealed, 0 in constructed, herbal tea. So but yeah, I mean, I love this figure. In sealed, he's really good. And now he's got the shape change also. Like he's a really good figure. All right, so in sealed. So all right, so let's take a look at the next figure, which is Chameleon, set number 19. Kenny, what do you think about this chameleon, this uncommon chameleon? He's got some interesting powers.
Pretty good chameleon. There's not a whole ton of outwit in the lower rarity, so when you see it active, you kind of jump on it. He has a really interesting rally trait, essentially swapping places with a single base opposing character. All of the characters in this set are single base. So, and then the other trait where Sinister Syndicate have team player, and this is a Spider-Man set, so there's plenty of Sinister Syndicate characters that this will synergize with and give them access to copy the other team abilities, such as Spider-Man TA, Shield, PD, I'm sure there's other ones that Masters of Evil, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think he's a triple when it comes to sealed. He's not your damage type of guy, but he is the one that kind of just goes and disrupts whatever you're trying to do when it comes to outwit, tie you up. He has shape change and super senses, and then copy whatever team ability he wants. And, with that rally die, he can just make someone, he's almost set up like a little kill box, and while he's tying up others. So yeah, triple all the way. I want to believe that Doc Ock or some other Sinister people in constructed will be a thing in the near future, and he does have good utility with those characters with that team ability. So I'll say he's a single in constructed, but I'm not holding my breath.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm at a triple for sealed also. The outwit's great, and decent chance to give some friendlies wild card if you pull some syndicate. But like Kenny said, if syndicate gets some legs in constructed, I think this chameleon is absolutely someone that has to be in the pool of consideration. I just think you get a lot of good value there with the wild card and the rally. Yeah, I don't know. I like him. I think he's good value for 30 points. Maybe a single, but for constructed. But
yeah, cool. I think he's definitely a triple in sealed. Triple shot of espresso and sealed. I mean, he has that outwit. He has the rally thing going on for him. He can give friendlies, including himself, wild card, so he can wild card anything he wants. And he can give out wild card to others. I think in constructed, I think for like I agree with Matt. Like I agree. Like it is possible that Sinister Syndicate could become a thing. I mean, at least even like cheated onto like scientist teams or like any keyword that Green Goblin has. I don't know what else he has, but I think if you're swapping, I mean, hit the combination with him and Iron Spider Prime, which we'll take a look at, where he gives everybody. We'll take a look at Iron Spider Prime when we get up to that figure, but there's a good combo there between Chameleon and Iron Spider Prime, so I think maybe I give him a 1.5 in constructed. It's not quite there yet, but I think it's possible. All right, so the next uncommon is Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy is set number 20. Cheap leadership, 20 points for cheap leadership. What do you think about Gwen Stacy, Matt?
She is playable for sealed. I mean, you're probably not pulling a chase to activate her trait, but she is a cheap leadership. 50-50 senses. It's playable if you don't pull another leadership, and you have enough figures that you want to, use 4 actions. I maybe could see it in constructed. I mean, some of the chases we'll see the Gwenders have pretty beefy last dials or last clicks on their dial, so I could maybe see it, like probably a 1, and maybe like a 1 or 2 for sealed.
Kenny?
There was no leadership in the commons. We saw Mr. Negative as an uncommon head leadership. So if she is your only source of leadership, she could have absolutely no powers. You're still playing her for 20 points. So I will give her a double, and she's probably a triple if she actually is the only leadership option you have. There's going to be a lot of figures on your team based on the point values of the set. When it comes to constructed, I do agree with Matt. I do see it more as a single, maybe 1.5, because there are some Gwenders that have potential. When it comes to having fun and you want to play a really fun theme team, you have Gwenders and you have all the chases, and this is a triple easily. It's a really fun team to build around, and I'm sure when we get there we could talk more about it. But she is quite useful in that archetype.
I think I agree with both of you. She could be playable in constructed, like a 1, and especially the fact that she's such a cheap leadership. She can go on like if you're building theme, you could build celebrity. I think she's like the cheapest leadership I've seen for celebrity keyword figures. And then also sealed. If you need that leadership, then definitely play her. So. Yeah, I'd give her like a 1 and a 2 in sealed. All right, let's take a look at Hand Ninja. This is the second Hand Ninja. This one has sidestep and empower and some blades and some giant reach. Kenny, what do you think about Hand Ninja?
I think both Hand Ninjas are great. Very, one text-based power, very simple but yet very effective. The other one's more about stealth and misdirection. This one wants to get in your face and chop your head off. And they both do it very well. The cool thing is that they are also generated by other characters, which I think the next character is one of them, and Punisher is the other one. So just from that alone, based on your pulls, they might be triple shots. I think the common one we agree on triple shot. This one, it's good. I think the other one's slightly more useful on his own. This one, you kind of want to, it's preferred if you have the characters that accompany it. So I'm going to give him a double. But if you did pull Punisher or Matt Murdock, the next figure we're going over, then he's easily a triple. That being said, all in constructed. Unless you're playing a fun hand team with the one that gives everyone X-play weakness, which is going to be a blast. Constructive competitively, this is definitely an herbal team.
Matt?
Yeah, herbal for constructed. mostly just because, to me, honestly, it would be close because there's not a ton of cheap and power that I can think of, but the blue um, the blue ring, is that what it's called?
Blue Lantern ring. Yeah.
Yeah. The Blue Lantern ring granting empower for 10 points is just a lot better value for an empower. But I think Kenny's right for sealed. Like there's like, depending on your pulls, it could be a three if it's like you have someone that can carry him and you got a lot of close combat and you're going to get good use out of that in power. Um, Otherwise, probably at least a double. I really like the sidestep, keeping him mobile so he
Mhm.
can bounce around for whoever's attacking that turn, and he can himself put out 6 damage, if you get lucky. So and plus the TA. So yeah, probably like a double, triple sealed.
Yeah, I think herbal and constructed, maybe a double in sealed, but that the Masters of Evil TA and the Empower together really work. I mean, they're if you can carry him around, or like yeah, if you're able to carry him around with someone, maybe with someone with the Underworld or something like that, and that's really good. So with the it's kind of like the police officer with the police team ability. Only this is for
Mhm.
close combat. So.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at Matt Murdock. This is the evil Matt Murdock that works for the Hand. Here, let me scroll down so you can see his powers. Matt, what do you think about Matt Murdock?
So 60 points, 2 team abilities, one underworld that would let him carry, um, outwit, and traded leadership with his masterminded stealth. Honestly, even without hand ninjas for him to generate, he's at least a 2 for me. Like being able to carry and the outwit and being your leadership. Um, and then on top of that, the Matt Murdock takes a maximum 10 steps ahead. He takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks if he and the attacker share displayed standard power. Charge blades, senses, outwit. There's probably a good amount of figures that have at least one of those powers. So even without hand ninjas, I mean, I think his value is pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to say 3. It feels a little crazy, but I mean, if you pull hand ninjas, it's like a super 3, even just 1.
Mhm.
But maybe even fringe meta play, because that trait is a trait. It's not like an outwittable thing. Probably not, but like I could see like if WKO's come back, like maybe there or something. He's cool. He's a cool Matt Murdock. He's like a really cool figure to have in the game.
Yeah, Kenny.
Yeah. He hit all the points. I do think he's a triple. If you have one or more hand ninjas, more the better. On his own, he's probably 2.5. He gives you leadership. He has a reducer in his own way because there are a handful of figures that we just saw and we're going to see that will have one of those powers displayed, predominantly super senses in a Spider-Man set. And you can't outwit that trait. It's still displayed. It's whether that power itself gets outwitted or whatnot. So he's just annoying. It's obnoxious to deal with. He has outwit of his own. He has blades of his own, which kind of covers up the 2 base damage. I'm looking at Clix Nexus on Clix 6. He has KO for damage. So obviously that should probably be corrected, but I think that's supposed to be a 2. No. So once again, I do think he's a 2.5 in sealed, 3 if you have one or more hand ninjas. In constructed, Matt's being a little generous. I don't think he'll see the play, but I do think he is a cool figure, and I love to be proven wrong. So if he does see play, I'll be happy to see it. He's probably an herbal tea for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Kenny's right about the constructed. I don't think he's going to really see play.
I know, but his name is Matt.
His name is Matt. So you've reviewed both the Matts. You reviewed. But yeah, he's got outwit, which is great. He can hit you for blades for like possibly 6 damage. He wants to base people that have the same colored powers as he does. He can also carry people around. He's got the Masters of Evil. He wants you to like try to hit him, and then like you're stuck there, and then like he outwits you and blazes you, and like he's a good figure. I think he's a 3 in sealed. I mean, there's so many pieces with charge also. So like, yeah. It depends on your matchup though. Like,
he counters Sky Tyrant. We figured out the meta, guys.
We've unlocked it. Yeah.
Actually, Sky doesn't have charge display.
You're right.
It's a special charge.
Does he share any of that? No, he doesn't.
He shares 3 powers. They're just none of them are displayed.
They're not displayed. We're back to square one, guys.
Okay. So yeah, let's take a look at the next figure. We got, after Matt Murdock, we have Silver Sable. Silver Sable is set number 23. She's the uncommon. She's the set number 23 out of the uncommons.
Yeah.
Kenny, what do you have to say about Silver Sable?
Well, I mean, she's not a bad figure, but it's a really hard act to follow after Matt Murdock, honestly, especially when you're at the same cost. So she has an interesting trait. It's a shame that it's perplex to only target the mercenary. It would have been nice if it was perplex normally and then perplex the mercenary regardless. But here we are. This is what we're looking at. Again, her kit's not bad. I would probably give her a 1.5 when it comes to sealed. I think we're getting to a point where we've seen other commons and uncommons where for the point value that we want to invest, they do just a bit more. You get her and you play her and you pull her. She's not going to disappoint you. It's just the preference, or rather the priority of which figures you actually do want to play. And she, unfortunately, is just a little bit behind some of the other figures. And then that being said, if she's not playable in sealed, you know she's not playable in constructed at all. So she's going to be an herbal tea, unfortunately. And yeah, that's all I got to say about her.
Yeah, she seems like a little detuned to me. To reach for and sealed, I feel like we've seen a lot more playable dials. I mean, it's not the worst kit, like, but like probably herbal for both. Like, maybe playable for sealed. She could fit the right team. You have like a big Alpha Strike type of figure or something, and that perplex is going to go a long way, maybe, but otherwise, probably single for sealed.
Yeah, I'd say a 0 and herbal tea for constructed and a single for sealed. Her speed value is very low. Like, she's got a 6 speed running shot, so she's only doing running shot 3 squares. Precision strike is nice. The range combat expert is cool, but she's only got 2 damage. So yeah, not really huge on her. I'll just give her a 1 for sealed. All right, let's take a look at Speed Demon. Okay, pretty straightforward. Speed Demon. Matt, what do you think about Speed Demon? Set number 24.
Top dial. He's good. Late dial, the 9 attack. 2-1 damage is kind of rough, and the speed value goes down a lot too. Because of that back dial, probably closer to a 2 or 1.5. But in general, hyper precision in a Spider-Man set and the senses with 3 damage up top is solid enough to probably earn a spot on your seal team. Not for constructed though. Herbal for constructed.
Kenny?
Like, you know me, I've done pretty well in my day in constructed. And given that he has rally, hypersonic speed, smaller maps, that's really good alpha potential. You can auto equip. I don't think this is what people are going to do, but if you really want to make this work in constructed and get that big first swing, you can. And probably even get back safely, given, TK is an option for 4 squares, the rally removal to 6 squares, hypersonic for 9. More of a Kagrit's a thing to give you a rally die right off the bat. That's just me spitballing, me trying to be nice about the secret. He's probably still a single or an herbal in constructed, but it's always fun to talk about different ideas. However, in sealed, if you are the person that doesn't want to wait around, wants to get in there and just like go ahead and punch and let things lie as they lie, he does have the tools of precision strike to mitigate some of the super senses, enhanced super senses that some of the characters would have. But Matt's absolutely right. Once he gets hit, he's not doing much unless you have Aunt May or you have a bunch of Synthesis Syndicate people perfectly positioned adjacent to him to make up for his attack value slot. Can't really do much about the damage slot. So I do think he's a double. I do think people who just who are impatient are going to love this figure, and then they'll hate it when, they miss and he's on Clix 6 not doing anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, I think for me, he's kind of like a 2, like a 1.5 in sealed. He does have that potential. I don't like the end of his dial that much. I think if you pair him with like Chameleon, that's really cool, because then like you can give him and like a Spider-Man TA, you can give him the extra boost to the super senses. Precision strike is really good in the set, so. Hypersonic on a small map is always good. I'd give him a 2 in sealed, probably a herbal T in constructed.
I want to say that he does get better if you pull enough syndicate and you can replace his attack value late dial.
That's true.
Like maybe if you're finessey enough, it kind of helps. Okay, okay.
You really can't. Like I said, you can help the attack values. The damage value is going to be a lot harder unless you have the empowers, but that is something to do if you still want to make the most use out of him. But that seems like a heavy investment.
Yeah, but I mean, it is true. Like he does, even though he gets that low damage, he still has precision strike, so he can still get.
Yeah, if you're desperate for a hit and 1 damage, sure, he can do it.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at after Speed Demon. We have Prowler.
Mm-hmm.
Prowler is set number 25, 45 points. Matt, what do you think about Prowler?
Charge, sidestep, stealth. Charge and sidestep. With blades and exploit. That's probably It's probably a double for sealed. It's not like, I mean, unless the opponent has Moon Knight, they're not getting past his stealth. Again, the late dial's pretty rough. And there's a lot of charging in this set. So maybe more like a 1 to 2, 1.5. I mean, if he has a Sinister Syndicate, so maybe you could, if they don't finish him, replace the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like 1.5 to 2. 2 if you pull some syndicate. 1 if you don't. But I'm gonna say herbal for constructed.
Okay, Kenny.
So he's an herbal constructed. There's no argument there. He's kind of like a diet Venom to me. He's trying to do the same things Venom is doing. He doesn't have all the tricks, and he's a little bit cheaper, like 0 calories. So I do think he's a double because he does have blades and exploit. I understand Matt's point and dial with the same thing we said about Speed Demon, except Speed Demon has hypersonic speed. You generally want him running around. With this guy over here, he doesn't even have that option. He has sidestep, so he's already going to be in place. He does have perplex, so that could be a 10 attack. That could be a 17 defense to go in against, and he does have blades. So where Speed Demon didn't have an option to manipulate his damage output towards his end dials, Prowler does. It's still a breach with a low attack value, but he does have the tools to still, squeeze a lot of juice out of the oranges here if he's in that position. So I do think he's in a better spot there versus Speed Demon. For 45 points with the kit that he has, he's easily a double. And I think he's going to swing up higher more often than not, his point values in the sealed environment.
Yeah, I think I'd give him in sealed. I think give him a 2. And constructed, definitely a herbal tea for Prowler. All right, let's take a look at Daredevil. This is there's multiple Daredevils in the set. So this Daredevil is set number 26. This is the yellow and red suit Daredevil. Kenny, what do you think about Daredevil?
If he had a starting line on Click 3, I think I would love him a whole lot more. I actually don't like Clicks 1 and 2 on this Daredevil. It's not bad. It's just, it's more appealing to get to the back end at a lower cost value. He's running shot in cap with 4 range in a 2x2 map world. That's not terrible, but it's also not wow me. Super Senses with the Spider-Man TA, that's great. He's a decent type figure. It's just that, I guess you want him to get hit once to get onto those juicy flurry close combat extra reflexes kit, but it seems a little off to me. I do think he's a double when it comes to sealed. I just feel like that attack spot here, precision strike's useful. The in cap not so much. And in constructed, yeah, he's probably an herbal, but that's just my personal take on this figure. He's not a bad figure. I just wish he had a second starting line. I think that would have made him easily a triple.
Matt, what do you think?
I think I'm more at a single for sealed. I see him getting hit and then not, and then needing to take another move action to get into position. He is nasty on the second half. That would be cool if he had another point value. But say, herbal for, constructed. Cool. I mean, cool sculpt. That suit didn't last for long, so fun for casual.
I think I'm with Matt on this one. I really don't. I'm not big on this Daredevil. I could think of a 1 for sealed and an herbal tea for constructed. I mean, not a huge fan. He does have traded super senses, but with the Spider-Man TA, so he's not as easy to bring down as. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe a 1.5 for sealed. All right. Let's take a look at Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman is either 75 or 45 points. Matt, what do you think about Spider-Woman?
She was someone else I got to play in sealed. Her shield team ability is going to be great for casual, but I didn't really get to use it on my team in sealed. I just didn't pull really much range pieces. Moon Knight was my other one. So I played her at her lower points. and it's a good value for 45 points. The senses with the team ability and the wall crawler trait. Like she got hit at one point, and then I was using the wall crawler trait with her sidestep and exploit. Like she just changes gears and goes, really offensive. So I actually liked her. I thought she was giving her that flexibility of 2 point values kind of makes her a two to me. In cap plus damage. It's just good, really good. But herbal for constructed, I don't think she's bringing anything super unique. But she was a pretty cool sealed piece.
Yeah, Kenny.
She does have detective keyword, but she probably, I think she's too expensive to really utilize there. But there's always a shot when it comes to constructed sword keyword. If you really want to do the Abigail Brand thing, maybe. I think that's more for funsies and casuals. I don't think it's going to be really for competitive. But focusing on steals here, she has a long dial. There's not a whole lot of long dials in this set. So for 7 clicks, the value you're getting, that's always a good thing. She doesn't necessarily have reducers up front, but she will survive a hit, maybe 2 hits, and that in itself is useful. The Venom Blast is nice. I mean, anytime you can give an action token while dealing damage, she has Perplex. If you do pull the appropriate figures that can utilize a shield TA, I do think she's a triple, but on her own, she's probably a double in sealed, and an herbal, maybe a single in constructed, a very, very low single.
Yeah, I think she's a double in sealed and herbal in constructed, unless you're playing for funsies and you want like a sword theme team or something like that, or because I like the sword keyword, so I like it when the when more sword characters pop up. I think always looking to put them on like a Vision Prime team or something like that.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's see what we have next. We have Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
Is set number 28. Boomerang, it comes in at 60 or 45 points. He is let's just take a look at him on the screen here. And Kenny, what do you think about Boomerang?
Well, I like Boomerang a lot. He's our first flyer so far, so go figure. Wow. 60 points, 45 points. He has good movement, good range, double target, probability control. What's there not to like? I do think he's a triple just on that alone. We haven't even talked about his rally, which essentially allows him to pseudo flurry from range, which that's a good thing. And then he has the attack power, which gives him another reroll per se if you were able to miss within a range. So once per turn, when Boomerang would miss a range attack by 2 or less, you may re-roll that attack roll. We've seen this before on the Foot Soldier Boomerang guys from the Turtle set. So revisit it on a Boomerang character actually is super thematic, makes a lot of sense, and makes him very playable and sealed. I think he's a triple, no question about it. He's one of the stronger options if Forum the Sinister Syndicate does turn out to be a thing. So for that alone, I will say a single. So based on all the other characters that we were kind of thinking about that might be an option there, so far I think he is the best one, but there's more figures to go. We'll knock him down as we get there. So triple sealed, single constructed.
Yeah, I'm like herbal single for constructed. Yeah, autoplay for sealed for me, and there's no chance I'm playing him at 45 points. Like I want the prop control, and being a flyer, and I want that 11 attack to share with my syndicate. And yeah, like so. Just to do the math for a second, like what goes around comes around. Once per turn, Boomerang would miss by 2 or less, right? He's an 11. He's attacking on an average is an 18. So you need a 7. If you roll a 5, you get to re-roll it. Like anything less than that, no. But yes, because you have prob. So it's
Exactly.
like so if you roll like a 4-3 or a 2 or a crit, you use your prob, if you need to. And then you can still miss by hitting a 5 or 6 and then getting to re-roll it again. Like
Yeah.
it's just really good chance for him to hit on top of the flight and prob. So he's definitely getting played and sealed. Like Super 3.
Yeah, a Super 3 and sealed for me as well. I think Boomerang's really good. Did not know that Boomerang, like the actual character from the comics, flew. Like,
Me neither.
I don't think he flies. I think he had like a jetpack or something. So, I mean, that's still flying, whether it's actual flight or artificial flight. It's useful in the game, so that's all that really matters. That's all I think.
I'm looking up the this Boomerang fight later.
yeah, this
I mean,
all right, so let's take a look at so Boomerangs, we like Boomerangs. So let's take a look at Shocker. Shocker is 50 or 35 points. And yeah, I mean, Matt, what do you think about Shocker?
I actually think I like the lower point value here better. Just because like if he's gonna get hit, he might be ending up on that lower value. I feel like the 2 clicks for 15 points. I'm not sure if it's like if I'm getting enough there, but
yeah.
I feel like I can squeeze him in like just but I don't know. I mean, maybe you do it in sealed just because of that he is that the only penetrating that I can think of, and destroying blocking. So yeah, I could see both. He's definitely like a double either way. Flexible for sealed, and like herbal maybe single for constructed because of the destroys blocking, improved targeting.
Okay. Kenny?
This is our first character with penetrating psychic class, as crazy as that sounds. He also has destroy blocking targeting, which normally are good things, but in this set, it just seems out of place because there isn't a whole lot of reducers and there isn't a whole lot of characters that will generate block. I think we've seen one with Hydroman. I know
So at our sealed event, like most of the players were like, "Oh, let's generate terrain because of the new rules."
Yeah.
So the one shocker I did see in that sealed event, it kind of was relevant because like half the players had like
Yeah.
1 or 2 pieces of blocking, but
yeah, even if you didn't do that and like the normal generic terrain rules, if you really want to put your 3 terrain pieces to be blocking, you can. And I guess Shocker's value goes up if you do that. But so like he's not a bad figure. He just feels like, he's like a fish out of water a little bit. So I'll say he's a single and sealed. It's very rare that you just don't want penetrating psychoblast to destroy a blocking, but there isn't a whole lot use for it. And there's other characters that could just do other things that I feel are more efficient when it comes to the sealed environment for this set. And then in constructed, he actually might be more useful in the form the Sinister Syndicate because that's where blocking and penetrating psychoblast might come into play. So this might be one of our first figures that might actually be, in my opinion, higher rated in constructed and sealed, even though they're both pretty low. Like he's a 1.5 in constructed, maybe a 1 in sealed. But I think I'm being a little generous as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd give him 1s all around, maybe, for Shocker. I mean, he's interesting. I don't know. The destroy blocking could be useful. We have one more uncommon left in the set. That slot goes to Rhino.
Hmm?
Rhino is 75 or 50 points. Kenny, what do you think about Rhino?
Oh, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. That's 9 clicks, 75 points. That alone seems worth it, and it's nothing to sneeze at either. This is our first time we're seeing Invincible in this set. Yeah, it can get outwitted. I mean, you gotta say that about everything, but still, not a whole lot of outwit we saw in the commons uncommon. So this guy's gonna dance with you, and he's probably gonna last a while. He's hurting you. He has good charge movement, super strength or quake. And again, there's not a whole lot of blocking to destroy in the sealed environment, but if you find a way to do it and you do get the rally off, it's pretty good. I'll say he's a triple. Just if you just need a tank, someone to soak up damage, you pull Aunt May and she's just feeding him, moon pies, and all of a sudden he's back to full health. That's a good strategy there. In constructed, probably Herbal Tea. I do like him, but I do think there's in the constructed mindset, you're looking for other things that are not just bulky tent poles.
Herbal for constructed. I think he would maybe be like a 1 if he had like a lower point value.
Yeah.
An easier extra swap option, but. I did pull him in sealed, but I didn't play him just because I had, it's just kind of the way that it went. The team didn't feel like, I was going to send him up there, and I felt like he was going to, it's funny you said that because I felt like he's just going to get outwitted and then blast it through. But he is the tank for sealed. Like, it is a deep dial, and it's actually a good thing that the reducers change. So if they do outwit invincible, well, you hit him and now he's got a different reducer. You would have to have another outwit to get through. So, or penetrating damage. But he's probably like his values are good enough and his dial's deep enough to probably be like a 2 for sealed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's a 2 in sealed. I think he's a herbal tea in constructed. So that's it for the uncommons.
Yeah.
So we've done the commons and uncommons. We're gonna do the rares, and then we'll see how that goes. Don't forget that the grading scale is a 3, 2, 1, or 0. So triple espresso is a 3. It's a top tier figure. When we say it's a 2, that means it's a double espresso. It's a second tier figure. When we say it's a 1, that's a not really impressive figure. It's a single espresso. And a 0 is an herbal tea. That means this figure puts me to sleep. So that's about it. So let's go right into the rares and see what we got. First rare is it's Morbius's time. 50 points or 40. No, he's only 50 points. Morbius for 50 points. Who went last? I think it was. Go ahead.
Matt goes.
Matt goes. Okay, so Matt.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you think?
It's Morbid time.
It's Morbid time. or Morbius's time. Morbid time.
Herbal for constructed. Herbal for sealed. I mean, if you pull the right stuff, you pull Mr. Negative for the TK and some perplexes, like maybe it's worth it to try to get him up there, but I don't know. It feels like I'm reaching.
Yeah.
Kenny?
I'm going to give him single and sealed. He is Charge Blade's exploit. He does have regen in the back end. He's only 50 points. It's not a huge investment. He does have access to 2 TAs. And there is a high upside if you get to Clix 1 or 2. So I don't think it's a terrible investment. I think, rare-wise, if you look at the other rares that we're about to, you're not super excited about Morbius, but, you could do worse. I'll say he's single there, and then constructed he's probably an herbal. I love the hunger for plasma, which the flavor from the animated series where they can't show blood and the sensors and whatnot. And then that's A plus. And then it's Morbius's time. Like just commit to the damn meme. It's Morbin time. It's silly, but whatever. You're not playing the Secret and Seal for the flavor. You're doing it because of what his kick can do, and it's not one of the better Morbiuses, but there's some use here for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kenny. I think he's definitely playable. He's he's not what you want to pull for a rare in your rare slot, but he's not gonna be horrible for you. Like he starts on click 4, so he's got Charge Blaze Exploit. So with the pretty decent like six click dial. He's got regen at the end and outwit and flurry, so it's not like a bad dial. So all right, yeah. So I'd probably give him a 1 for sealed, and a herbal tea for constructed. And let's take a look at the next figure. So we have Mysterio. Set number 32. Kenny, what do you think about Mysterio?
So I'm gonna go off the bat and just say this is a gorgeous looking sculpt, and he's a rare.
We lost your sound a little bit, Kenny. Kenny?
Illusions, and those Mysterio illusions are quite annoying. They have super senses as shape change, they have poison, they have mind control. They probably are more potent in attacking than Mysterio himself. That being said, stealth, smoke cloud, willpower, the Mysterio himself, he's going to be obnoxious, he's going to be annoying. He doesn't do a whole lot, but it really does come to the Mysterio illusions. It comes down to his probability control. You don't want to really have to attack him because he hits a shape change. Now you have to deal with these other things that are annoying. So I do think he's a triple easily when it comes to sealed and constructed. Again, we're talking about whole Sinister Syndicate team builds and whatnot. This is a solid option in my opinion. So he is probably at least very much a single when it comes to considering those options, playing the swap Sinister Syndicate teams.
Okay, all right. And Matt?
Yeah, I agree with like maybe a single for constructed, and a prob for 40 points is probably worth it in sealed, considering that he's also got the shape change and as far as I understand, those bystanders, the Mysterio illusions, don't have a max. So if he keeps hitting shape change, they're gonna keep coming as long as there's squares on the map to generate them. Which, like Kenny said, I mean, you start stacking up that poison against a set full of super senses people, it's gonna hurt. So I think he's at least a double for sealed. He hits his senses and he's your prob. So, and I just like those illusions a lot. If you hit one a game, you getting some value. It's if you have, there's a couple figures with like the Mastermind that we've seen, like 2 or 3. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like this Mysterio. I think he's probably a 1 in constructed. He's definitely got possibilities, and I'd say he's a 3 in sealed. I mean, just a prob alone for 40 points. He's, I mean, that prob is like one of the best powers you can have in sealed. So, all right, let's take a look at Beetle. Beetle is set number 33. Matt, what do you think about Beetle?
I like Beetle a lot, actually. I think that he's a flyer with sidestep, decent values. Uh, yeah, he's got to be at least a double and sealed. Prop Definitely a triple if you pull a couple Sinister Syndicate, because of the rally, and you're getting more value off of his area, his leadership too, off of that power, where he can, move their rally dies around. And you want to get that. Who was it? Bullseye. You can get the double sixes on, or something like that, or you want to get the extra attack from Boomerang. It's just you want to get the water for Hydroman, whatever. Like, it's a cool piece. And I really like him for casual too. I just think he's like uh, a good build around piece for that team. And then probably more herbal. There's probably better choices than him for constructed for like Syndicate. But maybe, I mean, probably Frightful Four for like casual. He's also probably decent there, like a casual game.
Yeah, Kenny?
Yeah, herbal for constructed. I do like him. He's not a bad figure, but he just doesn't do it. However, in sealed, um, like thematic wise, it makes sense that all the Syndicate have paralysis. Practicality wise, it's really stupid because they're all cannibalizing and fighting with one another to utilize these abilities that they have, and it's all the same die. So I know in Batman Team Up, a lot of the bad guys had like rally 2 or 3 or 4, and it actually made sense. They can actually do what they want to do. So having a trait like this to kind of help synergize and get them off a little bit is appreciated. I wish it did more of it. So good on Beetle for trying to be the leader there. Also, he has leadership. So, that's another reason why he's a triple when it comes to sealed. But yeah, no, he's a great kid. He has a great rally, great trait. Flies, not a whole lot of flyers in this set. So that alone are reasons that you would want to pull him, play him for 50 points, 6 clicks. Good kid. Have fun because he's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably like a 3 in sealed. Not many flyers in the set, not much leadership in the set, at least in the lower rarities. And he does have that really cool rally trait. So not to mention he's got 2 targets and he can do energy explosion. So yeah, he's pretty good. I'd give him a 3 in sealed. It's probably a herbal tea and constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at Bombastic Bagman. Set number 70. Oh, sorry. Set number 34. 75 points or 35 points. So, Kenny, what do you think about Bagman?
I love this fact. I love this character. He's obnoxiously good, especially in sealed. He's easily a triple. You play him at 75. He's our first character that has stop clicks. He has 2 of them. He has super sensitive and shape change. Spider-Man TA. So we're talking about a 50-50 roll on senses. We're talking about 33% rollout and shape change. He has a very interesting and unique rally, which is an all rally. So whether you or your opponent rolls it, you're collecting rally die, and it's it's just really good. So he's team friendly. He's healed friendly. In constructed, you can merge Fantastic Four and Spider-Man family, similar to what the other Spider-Man chases in the last set used to do. And then the defense power, the stop click, he kind of just blows up in your face. And the more rally dice you have, the harder it is. There's very little to not like about this figure. I think he's triple in sealed. In constructed, chances are there should be a Fantastic Four set coming out new soon. I know they're retiring now. So I think right now he's probably an herbal or single at best. I think down the road there's possibility that he can actually be a single or even a double, uh, depending on what is coming out in the near future or in the far future or what. As long as he's modern, let's just put it that way. So that's my take on him.
Matt?
So this guy is pretty much what my SEAL team was built around. With all of my perplexes, I juiced this guy up by 3 to a 21 defense. Gave him 11 speed, sent him across the map to base my opponent with his 2 rollouts and 2 stop clicks, while I was able to slowly move the rest of my team. So he was my MVP of sealed. He even KO'd some figures from his for old time's sake, his stop click. And then I think he's at least a single for constructed right now. Like the big figure I'm thinking of is Lockjaw, Legacy Lockjaw, like making him Spider-Man, and then just with the characters that already have Spider-Man family keyword, and then the ones you can cheat on. He's just Lockjaw's just so cheap at 30 points.
Yeah.
And so strong that adding another, 35 at Bombastic's low point with his, perplex that he's bringing, I think it could be a really, really strong combo there.
Yeah.
So yeah, one probably could push into the 2 at some point.
Yeah, I think he has high potential as we see more sets down the road, especially as a Fantastic Four theme set, which is opens up the possibilities even more.
Yeah, I think he's a 1 or even a 2 in sealed for sure, and then in constructed for sure, and then 3 in sealed. 3 in sealed for sure. Yeah, he's really good at sealed. But yeah, the thing with Lockjaw, I think that's a really great idea. So let's see. What's next? Scorpion. Scorpion is either 50 or 30 points. Matt, what do you think about Scorpion?
Again, I like that. For sealed and casual, I'll just spill it now. I don't see him for constructed play for meta, but for casual and sealed, I really like the 2 point values just to have that flexibility for building. I think it's probably I like the exploit. So I'm probably playing at 50 in sealed if I pull him. Exploit blades and the charge. Probably like a 1.5 to 2. He just doesn't have a ton of reach and only toughness, so that's why he's probably closer to a 1 for me. I think there's more other figures I'm wanting to play in sealed.
Kenny?
So, if Prowler was diet venom, Scorpion is like diet caffeine free Prowler. And he's a rare. So, 1, you don't get many rares. And if you get him, like, sure, you look at his kit like, okay, I know what I need to do, but kind of disappointed. You'd rather play Prowler or you'd rather play Venom. So, in that aspect alone, I think he's a 1 because he's not really doing anything exciting. Yeah, you get blades. Yeah, you get exploit, and we know those are useful powers. But it's again, when you're not going to see him often, and when you do see him, you're more than likely going to be disappointed. Unfortunately, that being said, if you see him across the other side of the map, you still need to respect him because he does have potential to just do 6 clicks of damage if you're not careful, or if you just assume he's bad because he's a rare and he feels like an uncommon or something like that. So I think he's a 1. I think he's a single when it comes to sealed. That's as far as excitement. As far as constructed, he's definitely an herbal tea. Like there's just no world where you want like, man, I need him to go win my tournament.
Yeah, I think he's a 1 for both. Well, 1 for sealed and herbal tea for constructed. He's just not the rare that I think you're looking for if you're gonna pull from the rare slot.
I missed the that he had traded poison, so it adds a little something to me. But
yeah. Having poison adds a little something, but I agree with. I just don't think he's that great. I don't know. Let's see. Next one is Daredevil. Okay, this is Electra Nachios as Daredevil. 60 points. Kenny, what do you think about this Daredevil here?
Okay, so she's not bad. Again, it's like the 60 points, the rares. We've seen other uncommons and commons that we probably prefer. However, she does have a little bit more going compared to Scorpion, where if you do pull other hand characters, and there are a bunch of hand characters or hand keyworded characters in the set, and you could just hand them all exploit weakness. So there's more opportunity for synergy here. I think she's one of those figures where depend on the rest of your pulls, the better she gets. She's probably a double if you're pulling other hand keyworded characters. She is likely a single if you aren't. The speed power is pretty cool where she does hit someone. You modify their defense -1 for that turn. So it's kind of just like, gang up mentality, which works best with generics, which works best with the hand characters that you want to pull. So yeah, that's my take on her for sealed and constructed competitively. She's an herbal tea. However, in funsy games, if you want to go ahead and build a nice little hand squad or whatnot, giving everyone exploit weakness is pretty fun. That's global too, so you could be hang out on the other side of the map, and hand ninjas on the other side are just going to go ahead and take advantage of that.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty fun, like casual piece. I'm with Kenny. 1 with, I mean, she's got 50/50 senses and stealth. It's like fine with blades, but
none of these figures are bad. It's just like what you prefer,
Yeah, there's like more playable stuff for sealed, unless you pull some hand stuff, because like handing out that exploit could be super. That could be super good, but probably more on the single shot side and herbal for constructed.
Yeah, I think for sealed, I'm more like the single, maybe single. Yeah, I mean, she's not bad. Like she has blades, she has senses on a 4 through 6. She gets combat reflexes towards the end of her dial. She's not like horrible, but yeah, like it's not a bad piece. But like I would give her a 1 in sealed, and I'd give her herbal tea for constructed. Okay, so let's see. Next figure is Kingpin. This is the non-prime 37 set number 37A. He has like 2 different dials that you can switch between. Matt, what do you think about this Kingpin?
Well, so he's the character that generates the police officers.
Yes.
I think regardless of if you pull any, he probably is a 2 or 3 in sealed. Because of the mastermind, depending on how you pull, you're just not really incentivized to hit him, because he can send a little damage off to one guy with a reducer, send a little damage off to another guy with a reducer. So he's almost guaranteed to be able to switch on his offense once you get in close, on his own timing. So to me, that makes it a 2 or 3, plus the other stuff. You pull some syndicate, they're going to be considered adjacent within 6, so that ups his value as well. I probably don't see it for constructed, like maybe for silver, maybe like a 1. But yeah, definitely good for sealed.
All right, Kenny.
Yeah, I agree. For Seal, you have leadership and outwit for 45 points. He generates his own mastermind fodder. In my opinion, that is a good character in Seal, whether you pull him or you play him generated. Either way. The second trait's great, especially in this set, because there's a lot of Citrus Syndicate. It just makes the positioning that much easier, whether you're a novice or an experienced player. I think he is easily a 2. He could be a 3, depending on how strong your pulls are with the synergy that he wants to provide. In constructed, he is like, I'm going to be a little optimistic here. He might be a single in a world where Prime Iron Spider exists and everyone just getting Synergy Syndicate. Smaller maps, kill boxes, having a character that just makes it that much easier to utilize a team ability and just share high attack values. I know 45 points is a big investment, but again, I'm going to be optimistic here. I have to believe there's some sort of combo, whether it's now or in the future, that might exist that Kingpin makes sense for it. I will say he's a single with a higher ceiling. Um, Time will tell if I'm right or wrong. I'm probably wrong. But, I like to give some characters a little love, a little glimmer of hope when it comes to constructed. So yeah, I will say he's probably I'll say 2.5 in sealed, and I'm going to say at least a 1 in constructed.
Yeah, he's got that possibility in constructed because that second trait is really good. So, maybe like a 1 in constructed. Definitely a 2.5. I would give him in sealed. I agree with Kenny about that. The fact that he's got outwit and leadership just alone, and the fact that also like what Matt said about his mastermind, so he's kind of is a deterrent from trying to take him out. Outwit, like I mentioned earlier, that precision strike is really important in this set for sealed because of all the super senses. Well, outwit does the same thing. Like you can most of the super senses are outwittable. So if you can just outwit the super senses, then or outwit the defense power, that's one way of dealing damage. So I think outwit's always strong. It's one of the best powers in the game. So, all right, let's take a look at. Well, I guess we got to look at this one. If we just looked at Kingpin 37A, I guess we got to take a look at. I guess we got to take a look at Kingpin 37B. So we'll take a look at the Kingpin Prime, the flowered shirt variant. Who's next on this one?
Kenny.
I think it's me. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kenny. So what do you think about this Kingpin?
All right, Vincent D'Onofrio over here. He's a great figure. Portrayal as Kingpin, seeing him re-portray that character again in Hawkeye was a treat. And this is a good prime. In sealed, he's just beefy. That alone, 90 points, 3 stop clicks, like that's enough reason just to play him if you pull him. His mobility isn't the best, but he still has 3 stop clicks. Like, what are you doing? Go ahead and play him. But the cool thing about the stop clicks too is that he has regeneration when he uses it, and he has no action tokens, don't have the results. So your opponent does not play it right or doesn't pay attention, you easily can just heal back up, and you heal 1 less while you're in a stop click, but if you're healing for 5 clicks, that's still 5 clicks. Um, I think he's a triple and sealed. I think we always say there's no prime really here that you're ever going to say is not a triple. I'm sure one day it'll happen, but this is not it. Constructed, he's interesting. He's a mission point character. He does synergize with Darkseid. I do think it's a little expensive, or it's a little too specific what he wants to do, but I like it. I think it's neat. It's probably an herbal, maybe a single in constructed. But yeah, that's triple sealed single construct.
Matt?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's a good point. Like, there's basically never a prime that's not a triple and sealed. This is, another one. I think it's at least a single, maybe even a double for constructed. Maybe that's more after rotation or regardless, but I just think 10 clicks with 3 stop clicks is, at the end of the day, it's point denial. So regardless of the mission points, it's just a really good value for a beat stick. Not everyone's looking for a beat stick, and he may not be a Immortal Hulk, but he's still pretty freaking good. So yeah, probably like at least a single unconstructed. I think he's playable. I would respect it if I saw it across the table.
Would you ever play him at 35 points or for constructed?
Yeah, I see. I forgot about that. I forgot he has 3 point values. So I mean, yeah, I guess. I haven't like built with him. He's like kind of one dimensional. But I mean, yeah, it's a good value for 35 points. I mean, 35 points with a stop click is he's carryable. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
your prime slot, which is very, very
yeah, okay, that's true.
Like if he was a normal character that wasn't a prime, I'm right there with you, but he is your prime. So that's what's holding him back a little bit.
I guess that's what would make me want to build around him at a higher point value to make it worth using up the prime slot.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm excited. Actually, I think 65 points is not a bad point value for him either. But yeah, you probably, if you're building around him, you want to build 90 points. And then also yeah, like he's a 3 in sealed, probably a 1 in constructed. But like that's because there's so many other primes that are so great that just take your prime slot in constructed play. Like there's a lot of really good ones. All right. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is Kraven the Hunter. Set number 38. Okay, speaking of outwit, here's another outwit. So we're starting to see a lot of outwit in the rare slot. Matt, do you want to talk about Kraven?
Yeah, this is charge stealth, outwit, like 50 points. That's solid. It's like at least a double. Like I'm definitely one. I'm always outwit's great in general and especially in sealed. Single for, I mean, probably like herbal for constructed, but I'm probably trying to play him in sealed. Probably at least a double.
Kenny?
I would say he's a double in sealed. We saw a bunch of other charged blades characters like Elektra and Scorpion that we kind of poo-pooed on a little bit, but the difference here is that Kraven has outwit, so that helps him a little bit more. I do like the Grand Hunt. I do like that if you keep him alive, if you keep him healthy, those 11 threes could become 12 fours. And, the more you get, the more options you have against the opposing characters just to have increased attack and damage values. So there's a little nice trick that he has there. He's still a double in my eyes. It's more for the outwit, but getting +1 attack and +1 damage is a little gravy in my opinion. It does require a rally die, and I feel like there's a lot of other rally die effects that you would rather use. Hence my critique. All the Sinister Syndicate having rally 6, it just kind of hurts them more than it helps them.
He does get flurry when if they have an action token, he gets flurry.
He does. It's again, it's your rare, and it's like he's not bad, but there's other rares I think you prefer to have or you would want to see more out of. That being said, you pull him. There are ways to utilize him and make the good use of him. Hence the double rating for sealed. And Matt, constructed. It's just like, he'll sit on your. He'll watch a game, but he won't be part of it. So.
So if they have an action token, he gets flurry. So you pull Spider Gwen, you run through him, give him a token.
Yeah, there's your combo.
Yeah, there's your combo.
Copy with Clix hint cards. We gotta make our own.
Yeah, or hint cards. Yeah.
I'm in Spider Gwen and Rare Creature. Let's
go. I'd give him a 2 in sealed, 0 in constructed, herbal tea constructed. So okay. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is the Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Kurt Connors, right? Yeah, Kurt Connors, the Lizard.
Doctor. He's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
Just like Morbius, Dr. Michael Morbius.
Dr. Kurt Connors.
Yep.
So he is 90 points or 50 points. Okay. He has the dolphin symbol. I didn't notice that before. But that makes sense. Yeah. Kenny, what do you think about the Lizard here?
He has really cool abilities. I prefer him at 90 than 50, and I know that sounds crazy. I think at 50 he's just too vanilla, and he's just going to go down pretty fast. I think at 90, those 3 extra clicks, the shape change, and the hypersonic actually is worth it. I know most people will probably disagree with me. For 40 points, getting all that, you would want more. But I think you want the extra longevity to potentially activate the rally for the free regen or the normal regen. And then the tail whip also comes into play more. The longer he stays on the board, the longer he can annoy you and get these free attacks and just do his thing is better. That being said, he's still probably a double. I don't think this is the figure that's going to go ahead and win you your sealed and just like KO everything. But he can swing it in your favor, and the rest of your team could probably pick up the scraps when he does eventually go down. So you kind of have to be like careful and careless at the same time with this figure. This is not an easy figure to pilot, but if you do pilot it right, you get good value. I'll say he's a double and sealed, and I'll just save you time and just say he's a herbal constructor.
Matt?
Yeah, constructed herbal, but I'm a pretty solid 2 on sealed here, and I agree. I definitely think the 90 points is where it's at. I like that his trait, his tail whip, free make an attack targeting a character that has targeted the Lizard. That means outwit targets, perplex. Doesn't even have to be he was attacked, just targeted. So, combo that with the hyper, he might be making 2 attacks a turn, which is pretty good. And then, I like him for sealed with traded regen. Like, it gets late in the game, then you've killed more stuff. You might be more inclined to regen instead of attacking.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Lizard is Yeah, you got to be careful with him, but like I'd give him a 2 in sealed for sure, and also 0 herbal tea in constructed. So, let's take a look at the next figure, the next rare, which is set number 40, Electro. He comes in at 70 or 50 points. Matt, what do you think about Electro here?
I mean, he's got the prob, so he's probably just a 3 in sealed either way. But really polarizing. I'm probably like 75 points if I pull any syndicate or like a wild card copy for it because that beautiful 12 attack, or you get all the same powers and reach at the 50 points, so you can save 25 to jam like a Miles Morales or something, and still get that prop enhancement. So yeah, and his dial is so funny. It switches up so much into the sidestep, Pensai, senses, RCE, and then the poison and exploit at the end, which is just fun. I mean, he is a pulse wave prob, so maybe it's like a single on your syndicate swap, but definitely a great. Yeah, and Frightful 4. Yeah. But definitely a great sealed pull.
Kenny?
Nah, he's triple. He's a triple. He has prop. He has 12 attack. He has Sinister Syndicate and a set full of Sinister Syndicate. It's going to be very, very, very hard to pull him, and not other characters are going to be able to utilize that 12 attack via team player or Sinister Syndicate. However, Matt hit the nail on the head. If you don't, play him at 50 because you're going to get the same kit that you want, and you're saving 25 points for other things. And the rally is really, really good too.
God, that rally is so cool.
It is like, this is when we're talking about like rares, like we're talking about Scorpion and Elektra, or sorry, Daredevil, Elektra as Daredevil. Like, they're not bad figures, but they were like missing that that pizzazz or something that you expect out of rare. Electro hits that mark. Great sculpt too. This is easily a triple and sealed. And because of everything we said, he has potential in a swap, as a swap sideline character. So for that, he's probably a single at minimum when it comes to constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I played with this Electro and sealed. He was really good. That rally dice, the rally trait there is amazing. It's really great. Having the prob was really nice. Having the access to the pulse wave was really good, and you could pulse wave and then combo that with the rally die. So because he hits with a range attack, so then like you can get around like being based or something like that, because you could pulse wave everybody and then make an attack from one of the targets to wherever. So it was just kind of a cool power. I really liked him. Yeah, I'd give him a 3. I mean, the prob alone just makes him really good. So the reason why I put him on my team was just for the prob, and I needed an attacker. So, but like 12 attacks, really good. And you could also play him at 50, and he's still really good.
Also, Pulse Wave, where a lot of super senses, a lot of perplex, like Matt said for the other character, Hydroman. Same reasoning, same usefulness, and there's very little reason to be like, I don't want Pulse Wave on my team.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the next figure, which is Doctor Strange. Set number 41. He's 75 points. Got a lot of cool abilities. Kenny, what do you think is about this Doctor Strange here?
Okay, so this is our first Mystics character, and those are annoying to deal with. Good thing Pulse Wave exists, so you can get around it, but not that. Not many characters have it, but anyway. So this Doctor Strange is sneaky good. He has phasing, which people will be like, oh, he should have running shot. He has energy explosion, and you think Psy Blast, but he has a lot of powers that a lot of other characters in the set were lacking, and we know that this set has a lot of low costed characters, so energy explosion actually is welcome because you can splash on easily. Most of them have reducers. It actually works in his favor. He also has that probability control, which is already making him a triple star just for that reason alone. And the defense power defend. If Doctor Strange can use energy shield deflection, adjacent friendly characters can use energy shield deflection. So there's not a whole lot of range threats, but if you were worried about it and you have this guy on your team, that just really solidifies that you don't have to really worry about it all that much. Do keep in mind that the shield of the Seraphim, his other trait, it's possible that he can lose access to it if he takes damage from an opponent attack, give him a broken spell token. If he has three or more broken spell tokens, he can't use energy deflection or invincible. So this is a very hardy character. This is a defense-oriented Doctor Strange, but he does have offensive tools at his disposal and prob triple star easily constructed with Avenger swap. If he had a lower point in line, probably he could see some play. He doesn't, so he's going to be a herbal team.
Matt?
Oh yeah, man. If you're facing this guy in sealed and you didn't pull an outwit, good freaking luck. You got to shoot a 20 or punch a guy with invincible and take mystics, and you got to punch him 3 times to get rid of the invincible, which means you're taking 3 mystics. I mean, it's just, and he has 8 clicks. It's just a nightmare. And then it's not like he's a complete slouch either. He's got energy explosion with 3 damage up for a couple clicks. And then even when you do get him, now he's got the outwit later, so and a rollout. So yeah, he's just nasty. Really, really great 3 sealed pull. And yeah, I can maybe see it for constructed. I mean that. Yeah, probably like fringe. I mean, handing out the energy shield is like a unique ability. But I think just, thematically, casually speaking, design wise, it's cool to see a strange that's just different, like with energy explosion and, he has some offense, but he's also being like a defensive player too. Like it's cool.
Yeah, I think I would say probably herbal for constructed. As much as I don't want to say that because he's like a good piece and I like him, but for sealed, definitely he's a 3. He could have maybe like a 1 in constructed, but definitely a 3 in sealed. That's what I think. He can carry people around. He's got phase teleport, protect them with a defend. He's very hardy. He's got the mystics. He's got prob, so he's got a really good, like, a lot of really good tools. Let's take a look at the next figure, which is Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
75 points. Matt, what do you think about the Punisher?
Punisher's pretty cool. Team player, sidestep with his, traded stealth on top of the mastermind and leadership, and generating either hand ninja. So he's generating his own mastermind fodder. And power and range combat expert. So gosh, if he generates the hand ninja with empower plus his own empower, yeah, you can get some big damage up there. I mean, that definitely fun for casual. If you get lucky enough to pull some of those synergies for sealed. Without some of that stuff, probably more at a 1 or 2 for sealed. It kind of depends what you pull. I mean, because he's a team player, that does help. Like herbal for constructed, but like a 1 or it really depends what you pull for me. To make use of the team player or if he's generating ninjas and stuff. It's decent, but 75 points is on the higher end for I think what he's bringing, maybe.
Kenny?
Yeah, I agree. I do think he's slightly overcosted if he is on his own and doesn't have the characters that he needs to synergize with. But if you do pull those characters, he probably is closer to a triple than anything else. I'll say he's a double on average. And if you do get one or more hand ninjas, or even Matt Murdock, the one that generates the other ones, because there's synergy there. I'm sorry, not him. Daredevil Elektra to hand the Punisher exploit weakness on top of his Blaze Claw Sphinx and things like that. Yeah, this Punisher kind of is your cleanup crew where you want to send in the hand ninjas or your other characters to weaken your opponents, and then with his Blaze Claws, Penetrating Psychic Blast, and Power Range Combat Expert, that's when he could just finish the job. So the cool figure, I think it's a strong kit. I wish it was costed less. I'll say he's easily a double in sealed, but unfortunately, when it comes to constructed, there's no way 75 points for this is going to fly. So he's an herbal too.
Yeah, I think for constructed, like I also have played him in constructed. Sorry, not constructed, sealed. I pulled him in sealed. He didn't really wow me. I find that actually in casual games he's probably a lot better because he's making those ninjas and he can mastermind to them. So he tends to go down pretty quick for 75 points. Like Kenny said, I think he's a little overcosted. It is cool if he can team player and he can copy like Underworld or something like that to carry some people around. But yeah, I'd give him like a 1.5 in sealed and a 0 herbal tea in constructed. I mean, he can do damage though, like in the right.
Yeah, that's what's funny about it is he's a 12 for 4 penetrating, but it's just, do you pull a TK? Do you pull some shield to up his range? Because he just without running shot, But
yeah.
I
feel like he needs running shot. Like
yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at how many rares do we have left? Only 3 more rares. So we have Symbiote.
Say that symbiote.
A symbiote. Generic rare generics. 40 set number 43A. Kenny, what do you think about symbiote?
This thing's obnoxious. It really is. For 30 points, he does a whole lot. It's senses, toughness, shape change. That's never a bad thing for 30 points. 5 clicks of it. When he's dealt damage from energy explosion or quake, give it an action token. There is not a whole lot of energy explosion or quake in this set. I think we saw Strange. I think we saw Sandman has quake. You remember any other characters that we've seen? So that's a pretty safe thing to deal with. Charge, lead climb, plasticity, stealth. So wherever it wants to go, it's going to get. Has Blades, Claws, Fang. So for 30 points, being able to do 6 clicks of damage, charging at you. And then if you do actually hit it, 4 clicks of steel energy to potentially heal back up to the first click and just be this obnoxious, annoying, super sensitive, shape-changing symbiote thing again. The first trait probably not going to come into play in Seal, but if you do pull the Black Symbiote, there's just more value here. This is easy triple espresso Seal play. it's insane. In constructed, like maybe there's a monster team. I guess with Genesis and Apocalypse, and there's ways to like keyword cheat, and you want to get more equipment on there, or find a way to manipulate your points to stretch you out a little bit further. There's a world where this character actually might fit into that. So for that, I'll give him a single in constructed, but there's just so much value for 30 points you're getting here. It's insane.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Kenny's right. There's just way too much value. He's got so blades shape change to charge, leap, climb, plasticity, stealth, so 6, and then super senses, toughness.
Yeah.
So
And
the
steal
thing's
energy.
got and still energy. So he has 9 powers for 30 points. I mean, like, I just don't think he can be less than a 1 consideration in constructed. Like, I mean, I said this earlier, but I would have to respect this if I saw it across the map, even though I'm not reaching for it to build myself, because it's kind of like just a punching bag of stats. But it's so annoying. It's a 3 and sealed for sure.
Yeah.
But the trait makes it, even with the symbiote trait, makes it even more playable for constructed too.
Yeah, I mean, like for all what he has for only 30 points, he's just so good. Yeah, I'd say a 3 in sealed. I'd say a 1 in constructed, only because like he's a great tie-up piece, but like he doesn't do a whole lot other than that. Like, but yeah, if you have like if you're building constructed and you need 30 points, you're building a monster team or something like that, and you have 30 points of like just filler. Yeah, he's like not bad, right? Like so. Yeah, I'd give him a 1 in constructed and a 3 in sealed. All right, so now his counterpart. Instead of set number 43A, we have set number 43B, Spider-Man Prime. This is Peter Parker in the black symbiote suit, Spidey suit. Could take a look at him on the screen here. Matt, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man Prime here?
I know we haven't had off the top of my head like a ton of symbiote Peter Parkers. How many have we had? We've had a couple, right? Like a handful.
Like in the past,
Yeah. Like a handful.
not many. No,
Not that many, I guess.
no, very few actually.
Well, regardless of how many, or how many we have, or how many we ever get, this is like definitive symbiote Peter Parker for me. Like, this is exactly what I think of when I think of Spider-Man with the symbiote like on him. Like, he's so cool. Super 3 and sealed. I think he's a double, maybe triple, like in constructed. I wish he got the Wonder Woman Prime and Batman Prime treatment of he could be equipped with web shooters and symbiote equipment. Because I if they can get that, I feel like he could have both as well. Which I'm personally I'm reaching for symbiote equipment more than web shooters, but even then, maybe not even either of those. I might be reaching for something just more aggressive, like the Necro Sword or something. Just because he's just like a monster attacker. I love him at 80 points. I love the bigger damage, and that speed power is just such good value. Yeah, I think he's super awesome.
Kenny?
Yeah, no, this is a wonderfully crafted Prime Spider-Man here. I think Matt made a good point where I'm thinking like the Infinity Challenge sculpted black suited Spider-Mans. I'm sure there's more, but there's not that many. There's so many red and blue Spider-Mans, not many black and white Spider-Mans, and it's good to see him as a Prime. It's clever how they did it with the symbiote, rare generic, um, to make it work. The sculpt's good. The dial is phenomenal. Subconscious crime fighting is not only accurate to what he actually did in the comics, but it's just also applied very well into the game, where it's just an insane ability where he can literally just continually attack. Sure, he's dealing damage, but that's what the steel energy is for. Whether it's a black symbiote to give you full dial steel energy, or if like Matt said, you just want to go ham and go Necrosword and just yeah, there's so many different ways you can go. He has super senses that can't be outwitted, so maybe you want to give him something that gives him shape change. Like you can play defensively with him. He has everything he needs. It's up to you, the player, how you want to finalize him, whether it's defensive, utility, aggressive, all around, etc., etc. I know he has a second line at 50. I don't think you ever play it. I think it's 80 is where it's at. And triple around. I think triple and sealed, triple and constructed. Even if he doesn't see actual tournament play, the potential is definitely there. You can't really have a conversation about primes and what's worth it, and then say this character is not it. He really is.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think he's triples both in constructed and sealed. I mean, he keeps on ticking. He can attack like continuously. He has a long reach with that wall crawling trait, and sidestep and charge and flurry. His defense power is protected outwit. He's got 2 rollouts. Yeah, he's tough. He's really good for 80 points. It's a really good figure.
I would like to add something because I think there's a lot of questions about him not being able to flurry twice for free, which is absolutely correct. You cannot activate the same action as a free twice in one turn. So with you can't charge flurry, get the second token, and then charge flurry again with subconscious crime fighting. So you would have to actually activate flurry as a costed action, and then as a free action if you want to flurry multiple times in the same turn. The way to get around that, or potentially get around that, is with the wall crawler, where at his free, place him in a square different elevation within 4 squares. That gives you opportunity to position him in a way so you could activate a flurry, not as a free action, or how do I phrase this?
You're activating flurry as a power action, right?
Correct. So, if you start your turn, I'm adjacent to Matt, and I'm going to flurry him normally, and then I want to come beat you up, Anthony, I'll go roll crawler, and then I can go ahead and activate subconscious crime fighting as flurry is free. So, there's a lot of synergy here to get around that and just deal massive amounts of damage, whether it's super strength, close combat expert, perplex, etc., etc. It's great.
Yeah, that's
cool. Or use your subconscious crime fighting costed action to generate a chainsaw and give that flurry.
There you go. I mean, we were talking about different equipment. Give him the Green Lantern ring or Red Lantern ring, whatever it is. Actually, Red Lantern ring would be really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 1 rare left in the set, and he's not a bad one. He's pretty good. Daredevil. This is Matt Murdock in his traditional Daredevil suit that we mainly know him in. Set number 44, Daredevil. Kenny, what do you think about this Daredevil?
This is a pretty silly Daredevil. Love the sculpt, by the way. I love pose and everything like that. So, he's no prime Spider-Man, but he is actually a very good pull. Simple dial, but again, it's effective. He has really good combat values. He has super sensitive with the TA, 6 range, triple target. Incap is there if he wants to, but I don't think he wants to. I think he actually wants to go and beat you up with his billy clubs. He has once per turn, Daryl hits with a close attack. After resolutions, may immediately move to 4 squares and make a close attack targeting a different opposing character. He has his own wall crawler, and he can make an attack after that. Not really wall crawler for the elevated terrain. It's just more of repositioning and just beating up more bad guys. However, the really thing that shines here is the outwit may target a character regardless of line of fire. You just need to be within range. You could be behind a wall. You could be behind 5 different characters. Doesn't matter. If you're within range, he's going to outwit you if he wants to outwit you, and that's really, really good. Improving characters
too, right?
Yeah, improve moving characters. Don't bother tying him up. He does not care. For 75 points, this is a triple sealed play for sure. In constructed, oh boy, you think an outwit that doesn't need line of fire would be like automatic. I'll say single because it's just it burns me up to say that he would be an herbal T in constructed, but chances are he probably is. I'm gonna say single, and I'm just gonna take the heat for it. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's herbal for constructed, but yeah. So he was the last figure that I had on my sealed team, and he truthfully did the heavy lifting of the team. You're right that he wants to punch more than use his in cap, but I did find myself a few times because he has 3 bolts.
Yeah,
charging in capping 3. It just mostly just to have the option to hit 3 people with how many senses was in the sealed set. Because all you do is if as long as you hit at least one of them, you're activating a good night's work, which after resolutions, he may immediately move up to 4. Well, that combos with his improved movement characters. Like you said, there's no breaking away. You're always getting to move that 4 squares to make that second attack. And man, I feel like I never hit a super senses with him on a 50-50. And honestly, I was not even mad about it when I did, because once you're up in the action, that precision and empower and reflexes, no one ever killed him. It was funny because he got hit every game, but then he goes to the reflexes senses and reflexes empower precision, and he's just tearing people up left and right. He was really, really awesome in sealed. If anyone is still playing sealed, definitely put him on your team.
Yeah, and he's got stealth too. I think. The stealth with the reflexes is great too. I think all the hand characters, or most of them, have stealth. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the red one doesn't, because the other one's a smoke cloud one. But for the most part, they're all stealth friendly.
Yeah, he feels like Daredevil. I felt like I was Charlie Cox in the show. It was so sick.
No, this is there's a lot of really good representations in this set so far. This is a very good representation of Daredevil. The symbiote Spider-Man, the symbiote suit Spider-Man, great representation of that. I think Moon Knight, it's one of the better Moon Knights we've gotten in a long time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yellow red Daredevil felt more like Ben Affleck. So.
We're dropping a lot of celebrity names this episode. A lot of name dropping. So that's gonna end that's gonna be it for the rares. We looked at all of the commons, uncommons, and rares in the Marvel HeroClix Spider-Man Beyond Amazing set. Stay tuned for part 2. And in part 2, we're going to be reviewing the super rares and the chases. So thank you, Kenny and Matt, for joining me on today's episode. we're going to do part 2. So everybody watching at home or listening at home, give me a like and a subscribe for this video. I really appreciate it. It motivates us to continue doing these, and also stay tuned and check out part 2, because we're going to be looking at the super rares and chases, and it's a really good set. I really like this this set, so I think we're all excited for it. Don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the Clix.